to talk about what happened. Talk about what happened today as far as
Big day.
Big day, indeed. So your initial reaction to all of this?
It was the right decision, a difficult decision. I've tried to make people understand that this is not about, you hear the words technicality and loophole that's come up. It is none of those things. It's a fundamental principle. It's really the cornerstone, the bedrock of our Constitution, is the fact that you have an absolute right, no matter who you are, to a fair trial by an impartial jury. So it's the right decision.
Well, let's talk about a retrial. What would that look like? Would Alex Murdaugh actually take the stand again in his own defense? Would you recommend that as his attorney?
Well, it's completely his decision. Not even his lawyers can make that decision for him. Of course, they can recommend whether he do so. However, at the end of the day, it is solely a defendant's decision to make that, really, that ultimate decision in whether to testify. He did testify, and he can be impeached based on the testimony that he provided in the first trial. So it's not like he could go up in a second trial and say a bunch of things that are contradictory to that. He would be impeached with all of that testimony. Right. It would depend on the strategy of the case, how the state's case went up to that point. There's way too many factors to be able to make. You'd have to make that decision in the moment.
And the thing that comes to mind to me would be the tape, the Paul Murdaugh tape of him at the kennels, his voice being heard at the kennels. He can't get on the stand during a retrial and say, oh, I was there the whole time. No. I guess he could, but they would contradict him on cross-examination because he said he wasn't.
He'd be torn apart on cross-examination. I mean, part of the biggest problems with his case is that he made numerous statements, I think maybe up to 5 different statements to law enforcement prior to trial, and that's where they were able to box him in on a lot of the facts that ultimately, with the kennel video, was the dagger of the case. That you can't explain why he would have lied about not being there and then did not provide an alternative theory as to who the killers were. It was unbelievable that he went home, laid down, and went to sleep. And I think that's kind of a critical point for many of the jurors that have been interviewed since then.
This was pretty much a circumstantial case because they had no DNA evidence, no blood evidence, no murder weapon. But some legal experts say, well, Murdaugh was his own worst enemy on the stand.
Very true in many respects because of the prior statements and then the kennel video. Like I said, that was such a pivotal moment that understood the lying about whether he was actually there minutes before the killings is almost a bridge too far for many jurors, I would imagine.
Could there be a plea deal in this case?
Unlikely. I don't see the South Carolina Attorney General's office providing a plea offer in any way, shape, or form. And I don't see Alex Murdaugh changing course and deciding to plead guilty. He's been very adamant and maintained his innocence the entire time. Going through this process, I mean, a new trial is inevitable.
What could the defense do differently this go around?
Well, there's a lot of different things in terms of kind of reworking strategy, cross-examination, expert witnesses. They're not bound. This is a clean slate. They're not bound to try the case the same way they did the first time. So I think you're going to see a lot of creative lawyering, a lot of different strategic things that they do that would make the defense certainly more effective. And there's been different things that have uncovered. You got all these internet cyber sleuths out there that's uncovered stuff. I believe from a defense perspective, the second trial will be significantly different.
And we're running out of time, but are you surprised at how much fascination remains with this case?
No, I think our country as a whole has always been very fascinated with high-profile criminal type cases. I mean, you can go back, look, we're coming up on the 250-year mark, and you can go back all the way to John Adams representing the Boston soldier, or the British soldiers at the Boston Massacre. And so starting with television, with just everything with the Simpson case. And so, no, I'm not shocked at all.
All right, criminal defense attorney Dayne Phillips, thank you so much for your input here tonight.
Thank you.